So, get ready with me vlog. I'm taking my medicine. I'm on a medicine that I started taking when I was working for a place. I've got to be very careful because I don't want to burn too many bridges. I mean, I'm not going back, but whatever. I was working for a place, and the lady that was my principal was seriously one of the most horrid people that I've ever encountered. She had such a distasteful personality towards me and towards other people, but not everybody. She had her little cliques. And around the same time, I started working on my doctorate. And I was just so anxious, and I'm such an overachiever. My ADD and all the acronyms that you can find, I got. I got it all. I'm a I'm a special person. Anyway, so I hold myself to very high standards. And so I had to start taking something for my anxiety because I would just not sleep. I would not stop until I had perfection. And so I started taking this medicine. And now that I'm away from that, like I worked for this lady for 3 years. And then I worked for another principal for 2 years. And I've finished up my doctorate. But I'm so nervous to get off this medicine that I guess one day I will. I will. But I'm so anxious to get off of this medicine because I don't want to go back feeling the way that I did. So I keep taking it. I also keep taking all of my supplements. And do I think that I can get off of it? Yeah, I do. I'm not sponsored by Alani, but you'll see Alani in my hand. Oh Lord. Anyway, I don't know. That's my thought because I never want to feel that way again. And she's not in my life anymore, so I don't know why I feel like that I would feel that way again. But this woman was cruel. So for today's Get Ready With Me, I'm going to tell you a little bit about some of the things that occurred when I worked for this lady. And I'll keep it brief because I'm not going to be getting ready for too long. But my husband is a saint. Anybody that knows him knows he's a saint. He is precious. He's amazing, and he's a saint. I'm just gonna put a little powder because I do have my Malaxin. I do have my Dr. Malaxin patch still on to cover up my pimple from yesterday from bush hogging. Anyway, so about this woman. So I went to work for this lady. I'd applied for several positions, and there was kind of a bidding war between her and another uh, principal, and she won out. And so I went to work for her. I thought everything was great. Now, when I went to work for her, there was another assistant principal that they had moved from another school and put there. They had put this assistant principal there, and then they hired me. I get there and I think this is my first administrator job. This is my first step up outside of the classroom. I'd been in the classroom for all these years, and it's my first step up for administrator. I mean, I've got my administrator license. I'm working on my doctorate, and I'm ready to change the world. I'm still thinking I can change the world. I'm still thinking I can do great things. And so anyway, I go to work for this woman. They've got an assistant principal. I'm hired as an administrative assistant, which when I get there, the principal explains to me, you ready for it? She explains to me that I was hired as an additional assistant principal because her job and my job is to get rid of the assistant principal that they moved over there because she had been in the district for so long and they wanted to get rid of her. That's what she's telling me. Have I heard that from the district personnel above? No, only from this woman, right? And I'm thinking, oh my apple pie, what have I got myself into? What have I stepped into with this job? And I vow to do the very best I can with this job and to support the teachers and support the students. It is kind of out of my wheelhouse because it's a different grade band. But I make a vow. I'm going to support my teachers. I'm going to support my students. I'm going to support my school. And in turn, when you're an assistant principal or administrative assistant, which is like an assistant principal, just a different pay level, you support your principal. So that's what I'm going to do. But I can't be ugly. You know, I can't I can't get on board with getting rid of this woman. So moving on. I would get these text messages. Hey, I just told so and so to go do this. She's gonna fail at it. Haha, this is gonna be funny. They're gonna see how worthless she is. Uh, and and what's crazy is I've got all the receipts. I've got all the receipts. I've got all the things, and she ends up being so ugly to this woman. And I could sit here and give you examples for, I'm not even getting ready because I done got so invested in telling you this story. Anyway, she was so ugly to this woman. She would say things behind this woman's back. She would she would say some racial slurs, and then she would tell me she made sure I knew that the superintendent at the time was her best friend's dad, and that her other best friend was high up in the school district, and no matter what I said, nobody's going to believe me. So I could have went and told them that she said X, Y, and Z, and it didn't matter because she had them in her pocket. And I'm thinking, this is my career. I mean, this is my career. What am I going to do? And I literally saw the power that this woman had. And she was so ugly, so ugly to this other assistant principal that the other assistant principal ended up going and filing discrimination grievance against her, and they moved her. Well, come to find out, that's not the first discrimination grievance that she's had against her. That's not the first grievance that this woman has had against her. But they didn't do anything. So I'm finding all this out and knowing it's not going to matter what I say or do. I'm going to have to get enough receipts to be able to do something about it. Just gather receipts because just little things, we're not going to get anywhere. Well, once she ran off, that assistant principal, she turned on me. She turned the teachers against me. She would tell the teachers, don't talk to her. She doesn't know anything. She's against me, and you don't need to tell her anything. If there's any questions, you come to me. I wasn't involved in any of the decision making. If something happened, I would find out about it later. Teachers would know before me. There would be different data meetings she wouldn't tell me about, and then uh, she would scold me in front of all the other teachers because I didn't go to a data meeting. I was on duty. I didn't know about a data meeting. So, just so many things. Also, my husband is precious. I was saying that momentarily. But my husband is precious, and he would send me flowers and chocolates, and just because he works away, and so he would send me these things. Well, then this woman, mind you, she's very skinny, but she would make fat jokes all the time. Then she started directing these fat jokes to me. She had said racial jokes about the former assistant principal, but for me, it was fat jokes and dumb jokes. And why are you getting your doctorate? You're not going to go anywhere. This district's not going to hire you to do anything beyond this. You're not going to do anything with it. Why are you doing it? That's a waste of money. Trying to be better than everybody else. So then she's fat shaming me. We would go to order out as a group, the her, me, secretaries, all that. We would go to order out, and I would, example, we were ordering tacos and I wanted some queso because I love some queso. Well, she marked it off the list as she's going through. And mind you, I'm paying for it. I didn't ask her to pay anything. I'm paying for my own food. I'm Venmoing the person ordering it. She marks it off and she said, "You don't need queso. You're fat enough already." Okay. And that was her thing. You're fat enough already. You're fat enough already. You're fat enough already. Constantly. My husband sent me flowers, chocolates, that kind of stuff. It comes in, and the secretary says, "Hey, you got a delivery, da 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 da." I was, um, I was very nosy, so I knew it was kind of coming. And I get it, and the flowers are about dead, and I feel bad. Oh, my dog just scared me. I feel bad because the flowers are about dead. I know he paid a whole lot of money for them. They come with chocolates and all this stuff, and I'm like, "Well, where are the chocolates?" And the secretary just looks at me, and I'm like, "Where did they not send them? Because I got to call this company because he ordered this stuff and it's horrible." It was literally the vase that it come in had the Dollar Tree sticker on it. It looked like they went to Walmart or somewhere and picked up a cheap little bouquet and sent it with, the teddy bear was horrible. It was it was horrible. Anyway, she kind of cut her eyes to the direction of the principal's office. I was like, "Does she have my chocolates?" And she just like, so I go in there and I'm like, "Hey, so and so, I was supposed to have chocolates with this. Do you have them?" And she's like, "No." And I see them underneath the piece of paper on her desk. I was like, "Are those my chocolates that my husband sent? Because I got to call these people and let them know that this looks like it come from the Dollar Tree and he paid a lot of money for this and they've got to redo it." And she's like, "You don't need these chocolates. You are fat enough already. You need to step back. You don't need these chocolates." So, "Excuse me?" She said, "Yeah, you don't need them. You're fat enough already." I'm like, "Okay, give me my chocolates." So I take them. I go back to my office. And that's just so many examples, 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 examples. They had cupcakes one day. They had cupcakes up in the front office. I went by and I was like, "Oh my gosh, cupcakes, thank you." And she walks by, she grabs the cupcakes, she takes them to her office. She said, "You don't need these." Okay. If I wanted someone in my head even further than what I already am, I'd ask you. But okay. All right. Whatever. So then a whole bunch of stuff. Like I ended up typing a spreadsheet and I couldn't even remember all of it. So then she ended up writing me up for something that I wasn't even truly involved in. I wasn't even supposed to be there, but I was helping cover the situation. And then this other person did something and she wrote me up for it. And I was just devastated. I was devastated. I'd never in all my years been written up, ever, ever been written up. And I was devastated. So I talked to my husband and I'm like, "I don't know what to do. I mean, I can't keep doing this. And if I go and say anything, my career's over because she has all of these people." And mind you, other people are turning her in for stuff that she was doing. She had a para that did some things that she didn't even report. And the only reason the para had to go was because the parents filed a a report with the police department. So all these things. And one day I may give more, but that's not even, it's not even worth it. So I go and to central office and I file a grievance. And it went against everything that I believed in. I filed a grievance. Well, the person taking the grievance was friends of hers and friends of the friends. The other person that she brought in to have a witness was friend of hers and friends of the friend that worked up in higher up. They take my statement, they take my spreadsheet, and I tell them, hey, by the way, she's recording my office. They're like, what? So I give them proof that I know she's got a recording device. She also admitted to me that she recorded the former, not the one that she got rid of, but the one before that had a grievance against her that they moved. She recorded her office. She told me about it. Mind you, this woman calls me one night and plays a recording of the assistant principal she was trying to get rid of. So I'm telling them all this stuff. And they're like, oh, let's just put that in our back pocket for later. Okay, let's just put this in our back pocket for later. I'm like, okay, I've never done this before. I don't know what I'm doing. I've never done this before. So I'm like, okay. And she said, well, let me go talk to the superintendent and tell him what's going on. Superintendent's daughter is good friends with this one. So he tells her, or she comes back and she says, well, he said we need to investigate and make sure none of this is happening. And we'll be back in touch. Okay. I love this stuff. I do. Anyway, we'll be back in touch. Okay. Just go back to the school like nothing's happened. Everything's fine. We'll talk to her. We'll investigate and we'll reach back out. Okay. So she goes and speaks with these people. And she tells these people that I was disrespectful to her. She told these people that I said in front of a supervisor some things that I never said. And if you pull up the cameras, you can prove that I never said it. But guess what? By that time, I didn't have access to the cameras to pull it up and look. And so they just believed everything that she said. Then the lady from HR, the friend, calls me and she said, hey, we finished our investigation and she said that you're doing this. And y'all are just going to have to get along. Y'all are just going to have to figure out how to get along because, there's not evidence to prove that any of this has happened. And she's saying this and she is the principal. And so we're going to take her word for this. So just go back to work, go in there and act like nothing happened. And y'all are just going to have to get along. And I told my husband that this could happen. I told him, and he's like, if this is your career, this is your career. So moving forward from there, it was horrible. Horrible. She would have staff meetings with the teachers, and I wouldn't know about it. She would send me emails to do one thing, but then tell me in person to do another. She would try to get me to change 504 plans without permission from anyone because she wanted her testing to be good. And I said, I'm not putting my name on nothing. Your principal name can be on it, but my name isn't on any of that stuff. She absolutely made it miserable. She absolutely made it miserable. Now, as I'm going through this, I'm thinking, this is my last year. I can't do this anymore. I can't do this anymore. So I did apply for another position because I always wanted to go back to high school. I did get that position. It was a blessing. It was such a blessing. That's a whole nother story, but that was a blessing. And I was able to get out of there. But I was ready to leave my career in education because of this woman. And guess what? She's still there. She is still there. She is still manipulating people. She is still lying about things, and nothing's being done. And so my faith in the education system there is gone. I lost all faith in the education system. Well, not just because of that, there's some other things. But I did. I lost all faith in the education system there because of who this woman knew. Like, even after my grievance, there were other grievances that were filed, and they would investigate, but nothing happened. And as the assistant principal, they never asked me what I saw, and I saw it all, and it never happened. The recording device, nothing was ever done. And guess what? I know she continued to record me. I know she did, because there were things that were said that she would repeat later and drop later, and nothing was done. I have audio because in Louisiana it's a one side state, and so I would record this because I could. You can't make this stuff up. I have audio of her doing this stuff. I have audio of her fat shaming me. I have audio of her saying, "If I wanted to get you, I would have got you." And I said in the audio, you can hear me say, "Are you threatening my job?" Because at this time I'm done. I don't care who she knows, who she blows, who she does. I don't care. And I said, "Are you threatening me?" So, no, so she starts getting real nervous because I'm sitting here recording this and she doesn't know, but I'm taking notes as she's saying all this stuff. Well, she gets so nervous, she gets sick at her stomach. She gets up and she vomits in her bathroom. Like, you know, if you wanted to get me, you could have got me or whatever. That's a threat to my job, and I don't appreciate that. And I don't think anyone else would appreciate that. And I'm telling you, there are so many things, and that is why I've lost a lot of faith. One of the reasons why I've lost a lot of faith in education. And my moral, the whole point of me telling that story, why did I tell you that story? I don't even know where I went from that. Maybe makeup and feeling self conscious and feeling fat. Um, when someone feels self conscious, it's hard to get that out of your head. So I'll finish this video with screw you, principal lady. I hope this video finds you. I hope it finds you because guess what? I feel like it might be time to bring out those receipts. If you're doing this to other people, I think that people need to know. And do I expect the district to do anything? No. But what I do expect is for you to be embarrassed by the level of disgrace and disrespect that you've given to me and other people. You literally ran people off with your bullying tendencies and your race filled slurs and your fat shame, all those things. You know, yeah. So there's my story time for today with a principal from hell. There you go.